It is completely okay if you do not know who this person is, because I'm about to explain to you who he is. And some of you may have heard the story surrounding it and know exactly where I'm headed with this. But this guy's name, or this kid's name, I'm not sure what his age is. He's probably what actually now I'm looking at the article. It says he's 19, so he's a grown man at this point. His name is Kobe Richardson. And if you don't know who he was the one that was in that picture with this white woman by the name of Sally Hazelgrove. And if you've watched a lot of the videos that Jason Black of the Black Authority has done involving the whole NFL Jay-Z partnership and the deal that he made with this company, I believe out of Chicago, she is over that company, or she's one of the major parts or components of it. But there was this picture that went viral where he was sitting down in a chair and she was standing over him with a pair of scissors in her hand, and she was cutting his locks. And then it pretty much went viral, and we pretty much made our own conclusions of what was going on and what it looked like. Well, he has officially come out and made a statement in which he says, in which he pretty much has now defended this woman's actions. And I can't help but think that he's waited 3 years to come out and defend this woman for what she did. And I can only say that the only reason he's done it now is because we've got a hold of it, and we pretty much put out there what we saw in that picture. I'm like, where was this at before it caught steam? It's like she's catching slings and arrows, so he has to come out and defend her. Now I'm going to read this article. I have not read it yet. I just saw the picture because it came to my phone, and I saw the title underneath it, so I don't know what it's about to read. But it says, "They don't know Sally. Black teen defends white woman who cut his dreadlocks." In a viral video originally appeared on abcnews.go.com. Kobe Richardson rolled up his pant leg to show where the bullets had torn through his flesh. His leg looked mangled even after 3 years of healing. "I was shot 14 times and left for dead." Richardson was just 16 years old when another young man he thought was his friend riddled him with bullets, but Sally Hazelgrove was one of the first faces he saw when he woke up from a coma in the hospital. That's one of the reasons why Richardson, now 19, is fiercely defending the woman known as Miss Sally, who was embroiled in controversy after a viral video showing her cutting off his dreadlocks 2 years ago. The social media onslaught began when Hazelgrove's organization Crushers Club, which helps at-risk youth in Chicago through boxing and mentoring, received a $200,000 donation from Inspire Change, a social justice collaboration between Rock Nation, the company founded by Jay-Z, and the NFL. A mostly unknown Twitter account with the handle @RZST Programming dug up a 2016 tweet from the Crushers Club account that shows Hazelgrove, who was white, cutting off the dreadlocks of two black male teenagers, Richardson and another unidentified teen. The tweet, which Hazelgrove wrote, was captioned, "And another crusher let me cut his dreads off. It's symbolic of change and their desire for a better life." I think it was that caption right there that really set people off. Of course, the picture did, but also the caption. They say a picture can tell 1,000 words. That caption can say a lot of stuff too, because you don't see them going around there trying to cut Palm Color's hair when they're probably contemplating doing something drastic. But it's a historical context, and we've seen so many times where you've had a lot of palm colored hands going through our hair, or trying to manipulate it or trying to judge it. I just did a video talking about two black boys who they tried to do something with their hair, and even said one of them can come in a dress and be referred to as a girl if he continues to wear his hair the way that he does, even though it's not feminine at all. But that's what they told their mother. So basically, it's almost like saying that our hair is somehow connected to a certain lifestyle or a certain stereotype, that if we wear our hair a certain way, that it means we should be looked upon in a certain way. I'm going to tell you this right now. There have been plenty of black men who have had low cuts like the one this one has right here in this picture and still have gotten killed. It's not your hair that you're being judged by. And the quicker that many of us get that through our head, the better. It goes on to read, it says, the filmmaker Ava DuVernay, who was behind A Wrinkle of Time in the Netflix miniseries When They See Us about the Central Park Five, retweeted the original video last weekend, helping to set off a firestorm and charges of racism against Hazel Grove. She said, I'd like to have a conversation with you and these young people about dreads and desires and dreams, about dreads and a better life. Shame on anyone supporting this full-on nonsense. DuVernay, who was black and wears dreadlocks herself, also started a hashtag life and encouraged people to share pictures celebrating the style. For many in the black community, dreadlocks symbolize an embracing of natural hair and are symbol of pride, deeply personal and political. Controversy erupted late last year after a New Jersey wrestler was forced to cut his locks or forfeit a match. And a 2017 study found that black women with natural hair are often placed at a disadvantage in the workplace. DuVernay's hashtag LockLife post received over 50,000 likes, many from association of social media accounts known as Black Twitter, accounts run by mostly people of color, who often use the platform to sometimes express outrage over social injustice as well as discuss culture, politics, and topics. See, that goes right back to what I was saying when I told you that they're studying us, like literally studying us. The backlash to the video was so intense that Hazel Grove was forced to make an apology via the Crushers Club Twitter account. The Crusher Club does not have any policies prohibiting dreadlocks. We welcome all hairstyles from our youth. On 2 occasions, our kids looked to change their hairstyles and asked us to assist. I understand how my social media posts could be interpreted as insensitive, but that was never my intention, she wrote. She declined to comment further when reached by ABC News. Richardson said it was a huge misunderstanding and was so irked he made a video defending Hazel Grove and the Crushers Club, which was posted by media outlet TMZ. He told ABC News that he felt that dreadlocks were a hairstyle that represented his life as part of a gang. After he was shot and joined the Crushers Club, he wanted to cut them off to disassociate himself from gang culture. Here's why I say you have to be very careful with your words. While he says that while the locks for him represented a lifestyle that was associated to gang culture and seeing how he was in a gang, that's for him. But when mainstream media gets a hold of those words, they will take it and they will spread it far and wide and say, see what he said, this is going to apply to every black person you see with dread. So now what they're going to do is they're going to use his statement, and they've done this before, and they're going to apply that to every person who has locks and assume that they're all in a gang. Or, at one time when Bob Marley had his locks and it was a craze, they assumed that every person who had locks was a weed head. And I think, some way they still kind of do believe that. But they definitely back then, they definitely associated people who had locks with being weed heads. They swear up and down that if you just smell someone's locks, it would smell like marijuana. That was a heavy stereotype back in the day. I remember that. I was young, but I definitely remember it. So now they're going to associate locks with gang culture. I got a question. If we see anybody with a bowl cut, does that mean we're going to associate them with being a mass shooter like Dylan Roof? Or if every time we see someone with a trench coat that they are a mass shooter like those Columbine boys and a list of others? No, because see, they're not going to paint them with such a broad brush. But with us, we are always painted with a broad brush. That's why I say you have to be very careful with your words. Like I said, while they may associate with him personally with the whole locks and it being associated with gang life for him, it doesn't apply to everyone. I know people with locks and they are not in gangs. But when people hear something like what he said, they're going to take that and run with it and assume that every person who has locks, even down to little boys, are in a gang. Hell, even some girls. It says you shouldn't judge a person over a picture, he told ABC News, because that's not who they are. And they don't know Sally. Sally's a good woman. All I know her to do is help and love people. He's really throwing the cape on thick for this woman. Richardson, who now works with the Crushers Club as a supervisor and is trying to finish high school, was adamant that he is the one who asked Hazel Grove to cut his hair. He said he felt comfortable enough to ask, both because of his relationship with her, but also because she is the mother of biracial kids. How about that? So apparently she is married or was involved with, probably most likely, a black man. Makes you wonder what she's telling her children. DuVernay did not respond to a request for comment. The individual who purports to run the Twitter account that initially shared the tweet of Hazel Grove cutting dreadlocks told ABC News in a message, when Jay-Z announced the Inspire Change initiative would be the actionable items answered to the kneeling protest and the nonprofits would be hand selected and vetted, I decided to check for myself. The individual who did not identify wrote, it was clear that this group had not been vetted and was practicing assimilating views. Hazel Grove launched the Crushers Club, where young men can go to learn to box and interact with mentors, in 2013, 3 years after moving to the Inglewood neighborhood, which had historically high crime and incarceration rates. Elizabeth Talbert said the organization helped turn her son's life around. More than 6 years ago, her son Elijah Tribbitt, who had been struggling in school, came to her and said he wanted to try boxing. Talbert was familiar with Hazel Grove, who she often saw picking up kids from school and dropping them off at the Crushers Club. My son was failing at school, Talbert said. Miss Sally got him a tutor, and now he's 4.0. You know, when they keep calling her Miss Sally, they might as well call her Miss Ann. She sounds like someone who's running a plantation, Miss Sally. But you know what it also sounding like? Oh, my black boy was doing so bad. He was a gang member. He was this, he was that. Let me go take him over to Miss Sally and see what she can do for me. What she can do for my boy. Oh, now my boy's life done turned around. I done cut his hair. I done straightened him. He done got straightened up. Now he's getting straight A's, all because of Miss Sally. That's what that sounds like. It sounds like some straight up mammyism. And notice, it's the mothers that are taking them there. No mention of a father in sight for either one, not for him or for the other example we just heard. It says Talbot herself, who wears locks, was also frustrated with the criticism leveled against the organization. She says she finds it unnecessary. What does the hair have to do with kids? No one else in the community put in that much time, energy, and love. People was in that neighborhood for years, never helped the child out, Talbot said. Let me help you get off the streets. Let's play basketball. Let's pick up trash around the neighborhood. Let's clean the parks up. Those are the things Sally do with the kids. So now they have put Miss Sally on a pedestal. Miss Sally is going to be the savior of all those Negroes. She's going to be the Negro savior. When school time comes, the whole gym room is amazing, she said, full of book bags, school supplies. Some kids can't even get that at home. Both Talbot and Richardson say they can understand the reactions of the controversial tweet and the uncomfortable optics of a white woman cutting a young black man's dreads with the message of giving him a better life. But they remain steadfast in their support for Hazel Grove. People are quick to judge because she's a white woman, said Talbot, but she sees things in these kids that other people don't. This is exactly why there needs to be more programs that are led by us. And to be honest, there could be a lot of more programs that are led by us and probably have been, but they get pushed out for people like her. That's why I'm so glad we have people like, voices of the new black media like Jason Black and the Professor Black Truth, who really dig deep into these type of stories. Even Tariq Nasheed will go even deeper with this and have. But they're not going to talk about this. And by them, I'm not talking about the three guys that I just mentioned. I'm talking about the people who are coming to her defense. Either that they don't know or whatever. But you know what? This also shows, too, that our voices are getting out there, because how in the world did they find out about this? Because just imagine if this never became a topic of discussion. This this whole situation I'm talking about right now would not even be a topic of discussion. Excuse me. But you see the amount of lifting up that they have to do for Miss Sally, because that's what they said they called her. They called her Miss Sally, not Miss Hazelgrove, but Miss Sally. Like I said, it sounds like she's a mistress on the plantation, and they are their and they are the loyal slaves. That's what it just reeks of. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.